Hey, good morning. I'm Patricia Murphy. It's Friday. This is Seattle Now. This week, some city governments in Washington are outsourcing all kinds of things to generative AI. Dogs are now free to roam around Washington state ferries, sort of, and more speed cameras in school zones might make school drop-off and pickup a little less intense. Factal editor Joe Veyera and comedian Phil Burton are here to break down the week. But first, let's get you caught up. Lots of transit news this week. In addition to expanded bus service on the east side, King County Metro fares are going up beginning Monday. It'll now cost you $3. That's an increase of 25 cents. Metro's first since 2018. The King County water taxi fare is also going up to $3 beginning Monday. Speaking of travel, AAA is predicting a very busy travel weekend in Seattle. In fact, AAA says Seattle is the country's #1 Labor Day destination. Axios reports that SeaTac Airport is expecting 1 million travelers over the holiday weekend, an increase of 7% over last year. The Port of Seattle says today will be the busiest day of the weekend at the airport, predicting that 200,000 passengers will pass through. And if you're planning on sticking around town, there is a lot going on in Seattle over the weekend. Bumbershoot takes over Seattle Center Saturday and Sunday. UW football kicks off their season Saturday night against Colorado State at Husky Stadium. And on Monday, labor organizers are planning a march and rally in Seattle under the moniker Workers Over Billionaires. It begins at noon at Seattle Central College. The protest is part of a national day of action across the country. Check back for more headlines on tonight's episode of Seattle Now. It's Friday again. Happy Labor Day and Bumbershoot weekend. Joe Veyera is here. He's an editor at Factal. Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Nice to see you. Phil Burton is back, a stand-up comedian and one of Stranger's undisputable champions of comedy. Phil, that's quite a setup. You better be funny, man.
Yeah, let's hope so. It's good to be here.
No
Nice
pressure.
to see you.
No pressure at all.
Yeah, nice to see you
Palms
again,
are
man.
not sweaty, but
Okay, you two, before we dive in, our days in the sun are numbered. We had our last 8 p.m. sunset this week, and next week is the start of September and school in Seattle. Somebody was commenting on a recent Friday show about the pressure the sun and summer put on Seattle people to get stuff done before the rain returns. Did you two get it all done? Do you feel like you have accomplished what you wanted to?
I got engaged this summer, so I absolutely accomplished everything I wanted to.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Perfect. You had one job.
One job.
You did it.
Got it done.
What about you, Phil?
I did not get engaged this summer. I am engaged though, and
Been there.
Yeah, been there. Still doing it. My fiance and I, we wrote a list of things we want to accomplish.
Oh, that's good.
And it has stuff like backpacking and stuff like that. But for me, I have to run a 55-second 400.
Oh my
so
gosh!
That's we're gonna time me on the last day of summer and see how it goes.
Oh,
yeah.
that is fun.
How
what
are you
a fun
feeling?
couple.
I don't think I'm ready, but I still have a few weeks because there's still a month left. So
All right. Axios Seattle put together a few recommendations to help readers squeeze in the last bits of summer. The list includes go to one of Washington's islands, find a beach, or get to the water, hike under the shade, or find a patio. I don't know. Anything else you'd add to this list?
So my recommendation, there's only 2 weekends left. Go to the Pastry Project in Pioneer Square.
Ooh.
They have a soft serve window. Get the swirl, get the dark chocolate topping.
Oh, perfect.
So good.
Yeah.
So I think it's Thursdays through Sundays. They're open in the afternoon.
All right.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love ice cream. I live by a Frankie and Joe's. If you want to get a scoop or two, you may have to take out a small loan because it is it's insane. A pint is $18. So I'm probably not going to direct people there. But I like to get a cocktail at a spot right by there. It's called Delancey, and you can catch the sunset, and it's very beautiful. And yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
All right, I'll put a free recommendation in. It is the Sculpture Park at the waterfront, a fantastic place to spend a late afternoon or a final sunset. Oh, what a fun place to be. And, the changing of the seasons isn't all bad. I do love a fall sweater, colorful leaves. How do you respond, though, when things are switching?
There may or may not be a pumpkin spice latte in my future, and we can keep that between us, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no judgment. Is that one in front of you right now?
No comment.
Oh, wow.
I try to plan stuff for the winter. I try to wear a hoodie and jean jacket, and that makes me feel good. Ideally, I don't sweat, stuff like that.
Yeah, you
It's the
can
little
tuck
things.
in.
Yeah.
You can tuck into the snuggy stuff for real. All right, before we move on, though, what is the first thing on your fall bucket list? Mine is making up for the summer I never had.
I mean, I just love when we reach the point where everything has pumpkin in it. Even things that shouldn't have pumpkin in it. It's just ubiquitous and everywhere. That's my favorite part.
You're going to get letters.
My wedding is like the first week of fall, so
Okay,
that's probably
that's it.
That's
what you're hurdling
I'm not
towards there.
focusing on anything after that
Yeah.
date. So
All right, perfect. On to the big story of the week, you two. There is a lot of chatter about how AI is going to take over the workplace. The offices of Washington's city leaders are no different. A new investigation from KNKX and Cascade PBS found that city leaders across the state have used generative AI to write emails to constituents, mayoral letters, policy documents, and more. A reporter requested records of any use of ChatGPT from 12 different city governments between June 2023 and June of this year. First of all, brilliant idea. I am a huge fan of public records. If you haven't read it, listeners, in one case, an employee in the Everett mayor's office queried ChatGPT by entering the following prompt. Using the mayor's voice, can you rewrite this letter to be a little more collaborative and less aggressive in tone? Before we talk about the tech, does it make you want to read the first take?
It raises a lot of questions about like how aggressive was the
Why?
initial letter here?
Exactly.
yeah, it'd
Why
be
is-
funny if ChatGPT got the mayor wrong, like gave it, like assigned it a different mayor,
Right.
Like how they know which mayor. I'm sure it said,
But how does ChatGPT know what like the Everett mayor sounds like?
yeah, because I sure as hell don't know.
I have no idea.
Why is the Everett mayor so aggressive is
Yeah.
what I want to
And
know.
Not collaborative enough, apparently.
Yeah.
The investigation found that generative AI was prompted with things like, what should the mayor of Everett say at this conference, and review this city policy and offer edits. KNKX and Cascade redacted some of the chat histories because they contained confidential information like sensitive city computer code for tracking homeless encampments or details about an active police investigation. They also kindly redacted the users' names often, which I think was important.
I'm sure they're happy about that.
Yeah. When is it okay to use generative AI in a city government office? What's crossing the line?
I feel like there are use cases that make sense, and they're mostly like data related. When we get into please tone down my language, that's when it starts to become really inauthentic on the part of people that are our public officials that we elected to do these jobs. And then to have to start to wonder, like, whose voice is this really? Is this actually coming from the mayor, or is this being fed through generative AI to sound better, but it's maybe not really where they're coming from? Like, I think that's concerning.
Phil, what do you think?
I think it's really concerning when you ask them for ideas, because it's like, as an elected official, we kind of expect you to arrive at some solutions. And I mean, to get elected, I would think that you promised some solutions. So, I mean, if I was a staffer, whoever queried this, the first thing I would do would just be go to the mayoral website and be like, what did they actually run on, and are we still doing it today? So to ask ChatGPT or AI for questions on what the mayor of a city should do I think it goes without saying that that's too far.
This one query asked for edits on city policy. Is that too far? That sounds a little far.
I don't want ChatGPT running my city or my suburbs.
I think that sounds fair. But, okay. Is it okay to use ChatGPT or AI to sound more humane or human? What if you're not good at that, okay? What if you're not good at that?
I feel like if you need generative AI to teach you empathy, you probably shouldn't be a public official.
Challenge question.
I think you should work at Meta.
Work at Meta. Right. Okay, but challenge question. Understanding how to be empathetic and understanding that empathy is important are two different things. So, is it okay if you're not a naturally empathetic person to put something into generative AI and say, help me out here? I know I'm not good at this.
I think you would have to take what you put in to that program and edit it from what it gave back to you. To be like, what does toning this down look like? You get that draft back, and then you're working off that draft.
Okay.
And even then, I'm still iffy on it.
Yeah, and what happened to just like having somebody proofread your work and talking to another human being, you know? Like, I feel like, you know, if you have a team of speechwriters, you're going to a AI versus the person who's equally as qualified. I think that's really strange.
And I know that I'm coming from this from the perspective of someone that like went to school in communications, like synthesizing information and writing, like that's my profession. That's what I do. And I know that doesn't come easy to a lot of people. But there should be professionals in these offices that can do this work without having to put it through a program.
Well, the prompts are very revealing. The city of Everett, Washington is considering tenant protections. What are policy questions the city should consider? That Everett staffer uploaded a draft ordinance. Okay.
I'm picturing really young people doing this. I'm picturing like kind of maybe summer intern or fresh out of college, because especially if you just graduated and AI came out like 3 years ago, it's like maybe you did use it a lot in your undergraduate degree, and you know you get your first internship and the expectations are high. It's all eyes on local and federal government right now. So you kind of just do what you did previously. So I'm picturing a 22-year-old doing this, and I'm not saying that's like bad or anything, but I'm just thinking about how, you know, my dad types with like one finger sometimes. So it's like I don't think it's like a middle-aged person being like,
I could definitely see like a older, rested, invested city worker just like, I'm done with it. Yeah. Just put it in the
What's
chat
this
GPT.
all about anyway?
I'm over this.
But it's just like, also, if you have like 20, 25 years of experience, it's like,
you should be able to answer that question pretty quickly.
You should be the chat GPT for your team.
The chat GPT.
And it's like,
and it becomes such a slippery slope to rely on this now and think, oh, you know, I'll put this stuff through ChatGPT and I'll review it before it goes anywhere. And at some point, I feel like you're going to become too reliant on that, and that like fact checking is going to stop and it's going to get sloppier.
Great point. Because whenever we talk about ChatGPT on the show and use of generative AI, the idea of how important friction is with learning and the brain. And that's like the stuff that when you're grinding away, that is the really important part of learning and thinking and considering. So if ChatGPT dulls that impulse or those thoughts, then my gosh. And really, honestly, here's another one. When a senior citizen in Bellingham emailed about not being able to afford utilities, a city official pasted his email into ChatGPT and asked for a sympathetic response.
And does that sympathetic response actually fix the problem this person is dealing with?
So oh boy. In a way, you want to make sure you say the right thing, but you got to learn to say the right thing. That's the work part. That's the human part.
And if you're a citizen now submitting things to your public officials or the city, now you have to be concerned that, is this response even from a person?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Is it okay to use like AI form generated stuff for like just regular like nuisancey stuff that goes out?
I mean, a form letter generated by ChatGPT that responds to, thank you for your email.
Yeah.
We'll respond in however many business days. Sure, because we're not like legislating off of this. We're not coming up with ideas. Like that seems like the kind of shortcut that this technology should be used for.
Leave it for the small stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and but it's even interesting that you say that, because I guess a good generative AI could take your letter and say, hey, Joe, thanks so much for getting in touch. We're going to think about all those things you said, especially that stop sign you want replaced. Don't call us. We'll call you.
Ooh, I
Thanks,
don't like that.
The AI.
I would not be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
I would not be able to tell that.
That's what I'm thinking. Can ChatGPT or generative AI solve problems? Do you think? Could it be helpful to people who maybe are out of ideas?
I was kind of thinking about that with the what should the mayor say or what should they run on? And I mean, I'm definitely not a computer scientist. I'm just curious what the algorithm queried for that. And it made me think that there'd be limitations to the type of solutions that it would arrive at if it's just like looking at a big data set. And it's like, okay, maybe one, we don't arrive at new and creative solutions. Maybe we just do what we've always done. And then two, it could get into the like hallucinating part.
Right.
Where it's just like, this doesn't even make sense.
Well, and Bellingham and Everett's mayors say their staff is actually encouraged to use AI in pursuit of government efficiency. But they also tell staff to review all AI-generated content for bias, inaccuracy, and like you said, like the hallucination, which is beyond inaccuracy.
Yeah, I mean, the government efficiency, that's, I don't know, it kind of seems like a blanket term when you're just kind of like offloading your job onto a computer.
And do these statements conflict with each other? Be efficient, but make sure to check everything?
100%.
Yeah.
One hilarious nugget in this story, many of the logs with the employees asking the same question: how do I export my ChatGPT history? Cascade and K&K say that's likely in response to the records requests that they sent out. And we should also say the reason Bellingham and Everett were featured so heavily in this story is because they responded with the most records requests.
So we're going to find out more from other cities soon.
Maybe. Seattle is definitely dripping in. So no time soon.
I look forward to seeing that story in about 5 years.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe we can ask the AI. On to our next topic. If you loved the rule change that allows leashed dogs onto the light rail, we have got great news for you. A pilot program from the Washington State Ferries temporarily allows leashed dogs on all onboard passenger areas except food galleys, which probably is a health code thing. Is this a good idea?
I mean, knock on wood, but my experiences with like dogs on public transit has been almost universally positive. Like, I see them and I'm like, oh, they're so cute. And they always seem so well behaved. And like, I'm sure I'm going to hear horror stories in response to that.
Yeah. Phil?
I have a dog. I love my dog. I think she's perfect. But I think the problem is that a lot of other people feel the same way. And, I think my dog's perfect. I know she's not. You may think your dog's perfect. I know they're not. And yeah, I mean, Seattle is such a dog-centric city. It's like, I feel like this rule doesn't even matter. People would have just brought their dogs where they want anyway.
Good point, Phil.
And there was actually the same publication that did the ChatGPT, the PBS Cascade. It was like in 2021, there's more dogs in Seattle than kids by like 40,000. So it's like the wave is already here. It's and I know that I have brought my dog through the ferry just on the way up to the rooftop, and nobody said anything. And it's like, I mean, this was like a Seattle Times article, I think, and I was reading the comments because that's where the real drama is, and people were
big feelings.
People had huge feelings about
Talk about that, Phil. Yeah,
yeah, it was. I mean, people love their dogs. People feel very entitled, just in general in this day and age, and it's like, I think the fallout is just going to be some people yelling on public transportation, which I guess is nothing new.
That's nothing new.
No kidding. What kind of dog do you have, Phil?
I have a black lab, and she is perfect. She is very friendly. But it's like, if I see a bad dog, quote unquote, it's not that I clock the dog first, it's I clock the owner. So it's like they're texting.
I'm glad you brought it up that owners are not good judges of their dog's behavior, because I think that is probably going to be the biggest problem with having dogs on the ferry. When's the last time you saw a dog behaving badly in a public situation?
I mean, it was probably like a small dog barking a lot. But like, that's just like annoying.
Sure. I've seen it on the beach. I've seen people with, the leash laws. People they think their dog is better off leash than they actually are. And in reality, it's very hard to control other dogs.
And like, oh, they're so friendly. How is anyone supposed to know that when a dog is running at you?
Yeah.
Well, there are a few rules in place for this experiment pilot program. One rule says crews may direct owners to move pets to a motor vehicle or outside deck if necessary for safety or bad behavior. You're going to make the poor crew monitor for bad behavior. I'm sure ferry workers love that idea.
I mean, where can I submit my application for that job? Like the good boy watcher. It's like, I'll do it.
Yeah. The other big rule.
You'll last a day.
The other big rule is that owners are responsible for controlling and cleaning up after their pets. Maybe they're going to need one of those little green patches like they have in the
Those are
high rises.
disgusting.
You know, the little plastic lawn with the fire hydrant. Washington State Ferries launched this trial this week. They're going to check back in February to see if it's working, to make it permanent. Also coinciding with the light rail rule change. I wonder if we're just becoming a free roam city for dogs.
I mean, that's probably what some news publications are saying, but
Is that okay?
I mean, hasn't that already been the case for the most part? Now we're just like putting it on
Accepting
paper.
it, putting it down on paper. When are we going to let the cats in? That's what I want to know.
never.
They wouldn't put up with you anyway. All right, moving on. Hop off the ferry into the car. Seattle Public Schools are back in session starting next week. Here's your warning. Be on the lookout for kiddos and speed cameras in school zones. Seriously, pay attention. Seattle plans to double the number of cameras near schools by the end of this year. SDOT wants to add 37 new school zone speed cameras at 19 schools before the end of the year. The plan is for 11 of those cameras to turn on in September, according to King 5. A school zone traffic ticket is kind of a rite of passage in the city. As a reminder, the speed limit is 20 miles an hour, and it is really easy to mess that up. Practically have to keep your foot on the brake to stay at 20 in most areas around here. Have you gotten a speed ticket? Have you challenged it?
I love a good challenge to a parking ticket. I mean, that's a great use of AI right there. But yeah, I haven't gotten a speed ticket in a school zone because I'm a good person, but I have ran a red light, and you know when the light flashes and you're just like, oh, it's like bad news coming for you in 2 weeks,
right.
Or just like a parking violation. That's always funny, like coming up with a reason where it's like, why you park somewhere 2 hours when you said you were there for like 15 minutes or something. But yeah, I have not gotten.
I haven't gotten
one.
it nailed.
Yeah, what about you?
Famous last words for me. Never gotten a speeding ticket.
Really?
Never gotten a speeding ticket.
Oh, wow.
One parking ticket. It was my fault. Testing
Show
the
you
whole
Only
Only
didn't
one
it.
parking ticket?
One parking ticket,
Wow.
testing the
Wow.
whole 2-hour zoned parking, and I guess they mean 2 hours when they say 2 hours on
Wow.
those signs.
That's wild. Okay, I have gotten,
11.
well,
The limit
okay.
does not exist.
We're going deep into the Murphy lore here for a second because before my 21st birthday, I had my license suspended in New Jersey because I had received 15 speeding tickets.
Whoa.
What were
Yes.
you doing?
Very fast driver
were you?
is
Speed
what I
demon.
was. Right, exactly. I am nothing like that now.
Sure.
Don't get in a car, don't get in a car with Trish.
Yeah, because you're on the light rail. Yeah.
Nothing like that now. But I have gotten speeding tickets in a school zone one time in the city of Seattle, and I am currently awaiting a decision from a Lake Forest Park magistrate because I got another school zone speeding ticket in Lake Forest Park recently, but it was 6:30 at night, and there was no school in session.
School zone is school zone.
That city is a speed trap.
I had to look up the statute because in Seattle the lights flash. You know, they got the little flashing yellow lights, 20 miles an hour. Pay attention, pay attention. I wasn't even going that fast, but I looked it up, and it is 24 hours a day in Lake Forest Park. So I always write a letter. I always contest the ticket. Do you?
Yeah, because you can always get it,
Reduced.
say $30, $50.
Yeah.
Like you have to try. You know?
And
I'm not in
ChatGPT can help.
Yeah. I'm not in a financial position just to pay the ticket outright, and I'm also in too bad of a mood to.
Honestly, I think it is your civic duty to appeal a ticket, to at least appeal a ticket, even if you're admitting fault. To just say, hey, can we cut a deal?
We're giving somebody a bunch of work, but that's probably like a ChatGPT
Maybe
thing, too.
ChatGPT, right.
Yeah.
SDOT says the cameras in school zones are making a difference. When the cameras are in place, the data shows a 71% reduction in crashes during school opening and closing hours, a 50% drop in crashes even when the cameras aren't active, and 90% of drivers who receive a ticket don't get a second one. And I totally believe that.
And this is actually probably, I've been thinking about this from the perspective of parents dropping off their kids and
Yeah.
stuff. But for the ones around high schools, you just said like 16-year-olds love to drive fast. And I'm sure they're a big percentage of the people getting speeding tickets in
Yeah.
school zones. Because, kids should be in school, obviously. I think the real issue, or another big issue, is texting and driving. I mean, you just see people like head totally down
so
as
scary.
the light. So I wonder if there's a way to do something about that.
And I think like the bigger issue for me when it comes to like speed limits and school zones is we really need to focus more on like traffic calming and like actually constructing roads to make people drive slower, as opposed to putting up cameras and just assuming that they're going to take that more seriously.
The entire city has been ruined by speed bumps. I am sorry. I can't stand them.
They make you drive slower, though. I'm not saying I like them.
I'm sending the city a bill for my shocks.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to leave it there. Joe Veyera is an editor at Factal. Phil Burton is a local stand-up comedian. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to see you. Thanks, Joe.
Good to see you.
Appreciate you listening to Seattle Now. Today's episode was produced by Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers with some help from Vaughn Jones. It was edited by Caroline Chamberlain Gomez. Our production team also includes Andy Hurst and Paige Browning. Greg Kramer does our theme music. Seattle Now and KUOW Public Radio are members of the NPR network. I'm Patricia Murphy. See you soon.